This is Wild Nevadacast. I'm Dave Santina, coming to you from the studio at PBS Reno in Reno, Nevada. And today we are catching up with the goings-on at Sutro. I got Chris Pattison, the former executive director, who we met on the Wild Nevada show, and currently the caretaker, Spencer Davidson. Thank you both for coming in. Appreciate you both coming.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Dave.
It's our pleasure.
Well, back in November of 2022, can you believe it? It's been now almost 3 years already.
It blows my mind.
We came out and did the Sutro town site visit with you, and Chris, at the time you were the caretaker and I think the man in charge.
Yeah, executive director.
Yeah, and so
they just brought me out there.
You took us around and showed us the site, and is it correctly Sutro town site or the town of Sutro?
Well, the Sutro town site is actually being developed over. This would be the working site, the Sutro tunnel.
So it's called the Sutro tunnel?
Yeah, we just call it the Sutro tunnel.
And so, but that encompasses all that whole compound.
Yeah, all those buildings that you saw there, that compound, that was the working area.
Got
There's a
it.
machine shop, wood shop, all the working stuff. The town itself was below it,
Right.
but now it's being developed over.
Gotcha. And we were seeing that at the time. I remember we stood at the edge of the hill and saw all this construction happening, and we're thinking how lucky we were at the time that this place had been saved. Mm-hmm. And so that was then. It was just being saved, and now, almost 3 years later, I wanted to follow up because you guys had big plans then, and we saw just a little bit of it because obviously the area is famous for the tunnel, which, if we're being proper, we shouldn't call it a tunnel, right?
No, it's a drainage adit. That's right.
Yeah. So Spencer, if you would, tell us what an adit is for those who are not familiar.
Well, the best way to explain it is a tunnel has an opening at both ends, where an adit is just going in, and it'll intercept with the Savage Mine 3.88 miles in at the 1,648-foot level. So it's the other end of the Sutro tunnel is way underground, so that's why it's called an adit.
Gotcha.
I guess that's the best way to explain it.
I mean, I think that's well explained. I had remembered that part of it because I was one of those people who always called it a tunnel.
Yeah, I'd still call it a tunnel.
Yeah.
Everybody calls it that.
Yeah, and I will still today, but I really do know that it's an adit. And what I still remember that struck me was just the sheer amount of water that was coming out of that.
Dave, if you like the water that was coming out then, it was like maybe 20 gallons per minute, if that. How many gallons per minute now?
It's been increasing substantially, and we are up to 100 gallons a minute. So it's 144,000 gallons every 24 hours.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. I can't even imagine. Is the physical space different? Is it like carving?
It doesn't look that much different. It really doesn't.
Yeah,
when you're looking
there's
at
a piping system that we're using, and they made a diversion. It's pretty neat when you come out there. You got to see it. There's a waterfall feature they made into a second pond. The main pond is now 5 million gallons of water.
That's the one we saw when we were there with you, and that was a nice sized pond then.
Yeah, it's even bigger now with the secondary getting even bigger.
Holy cow! Yeah. Okay, so for those of you who are listening or watching the show we're talking about, if you want to watch it, you can go to pbsreno.org and look at Wild Nevada Season 6. It's Episode 6. It was Sutro, and it was the Dayton versus Genoa was the title. But it was really, that was just a structure idea, a silly idea I had to try to pretend like we were pitting them against each other, because there's a long-standing rivalry. Who was the first development or the first settlement? We didn't really get into that. We don't want any fighting. We're friends, but it was just a fun way to structure.
If you want to have some fun, go to a Dayton Historical Society meeting. It's open to the public, and ask them who's the oldest. And see what happens.
So it's famous, of course, for the tunnel itself. Years ago, we did a documentary about Adolf Sutro for a series we did called the Nevada Experience, long-time documentary series we did at PBS Reno. And at that time, all we could show of the tunnel was that facade area, because the tunnel itself had collapsed a long time earlier. And I know that there were 4 miles of timbers. It collapsed inside. And then years later, here we are, and so much has changed between the 2022 recording that we did in November and then the broadcast of that episode, which was in December of 23. Mm-hmm. That facade opened up and people were you actually were able to do some restoration.
Yeah.
We got to show a little bit of it.
Well, yeah, it was completely collapsed, and you can go on our website and watch your show to see the methods we used to pull that collapse and to investigate how to proceed further and the history that we used, and now we're rebuilding that. When you were there last, it was 50 feet into the tunnel.
It was 50 feet, and I thought that was amazing.
It's huge. It felt daunting, and now where are we at, Spence?
As of today, we're about 180 feet in. By the end of this month, we'll be 200 feet.
That's incredible. So how has that been possible? Because it was so daunting just to start. Mm-hmm. Does it somehow get easier once you've got the start?
Well, and that was the idea. We had to first formulate how we're going to do it, how to proceed. We had to build the turtle because we had to conceptualize and create a structure that was safe to work under, which is the steel
That's
turtle.
right. I remember. And again, if you watch the program or if you're listening now, go watch this program. And also you go to the website, it's friendsofsutrotunnel.org. You have the full video from the drone that shot through. You guys had a drone company come out and fly through the tunnel to show what was behind what you could see with your naked eye. And that was incredible.
Yeah.
And so some of that plus all the other stuff, the structure you've built to safely build under.
I didn't build it.
Stuff.
I just was part of the conceptualization. It was Simerson Construction and Robeson Engineering.
Got it.
Got to give credit where
your
it's due.
team. I should say. When I say you, I mean your whole team and all the construction people, the professionals who did it safely. But it is a fascinating montage of photos and video of how you got started making that come to life. And it's so interesting. I mean, I want to go back now because I just saw 50 feet and now you're telling me it's 3 times that.
Well, Dave, you know, even if you're not shooting the show, you may be able to come out there June 7th.
Yeah, June 7th, we're putting on a pretty big event. It's a grand reopening of the tunnel, and we're going to have vendors, visitors alike. We're going to have a poker tournament inside the tunnel.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not good at poker. Is it okay if I just
can
haggle
watch
the poker players from behind?
Yeah, you can haggle us, maybe have a drink and a snack and watch us play.
So the open house will be between 1 and 4, and then the poker tournament starts at 4.
Okay.
So you're welcome to
And
come. Anybody's welcome to
10 p.m.
come.
That sounds great. So that's a huge development compared to where we were the last time I was out there, and I thought that at the time was amazing, and I really honestly didn't expect a huge continuation beyond that moment because I know it was so hard just to get that done. And I know the step one has always got to be we'll find funding, right?
Yeah.
And that's a tough job.
Well, talking about funding, you know, initially it was, and still a majority of it is private donors, volunteers donating their time, our board members, and going out and fundraising. They have a fundraising manager. That's her specific job now is fundraising manager.
Nice.
But they've teamed up with Travel Nevada.
Yep. Courtney Bloomer from Travel Nevada has gotten a tourism grant. And so although she did get us a lot of funding, we still need a lot more. Our dream is to go all the way back to Virginia City. One day we'd like to tap into Virginia City.
I remember talking about that with you, Chris, back then and thinking, I can't even imagine how long that would take to do. And now after a couple more years, you've got far enough in that I'm thinking, you know what, this is maybe an attainable goal.
It is attainable, and the more people that see it's attainable, and that was the difficult in the beginning. The difficult part is it's a collapsed debris. It's a mess. There's dead pigeons everywhere. There's water pouring out. There's trees. There's debris all over the site. Impossible. But because of our volunteers, our donors, our early work, we've been able to get to this point now where people see it and they see the proof in the pudding. They're like, hey, I should donate to that and get involved and help make this a reality, and maybe in our lifetime go in the tunnel, travel back to Virginia City and go up an elevator.
How amazing would that be?
Yeah.
That is
why not?
Fascinating to think about. And now I believe it.
Yeah.
You know, I was excited about the idea before, but now I feel more like I expect it versus kind of fantasizing about it. And
well, the pressure's not on me now. It's on Spencer and them. I'm a volunteer.
It's all on Spencer's shoulders now. No pressure, but it's all on you.
It's a huge team. It's not just on me. It's everybody's working really hard to make this come to fruition.
I love it. And that tunnel restoration is incredible and fascinating all by itself, but that is just part of a larger plan that
It
you guys
is.
have had. For the entire town site, we talked then. You walked us around and pointed out ideas that you had and things you wanted. You had essentially a museum, but you wanted to upgrade that. You had the old Victorian you were talking about trying to convert and restore and then make it actually into a place people could stay in the future.
Make it a venue.
Yeah, so
there's actually a crew there today working on the Victorian.
Oh, okay.
We have Simerson working on the tunnel, and then we've got Miles Construction working on the Victorian right now.
Oh, that's cool. So what do they have to do to make that into what you want it to be?
Not a whole lot. I mean, the structure's there.
New siding.
Yeah, well, the new siding, they're working on the windows right now. I think the main thing is getting that place sealed up to where it's not going to take on any weather or anything. So they've done the roof already, which is huge, and now their windows. Once they're doing that, once they get finished doing that, then we'll have the inside to do, your flooring and paint and things like that.
Okay, so it is coming along.
It is.
Remind me of the story of that building, because it wasn't built on that site.
No, it wasn't. It was actually moved 2 times in its life. It started out in Carson City. It was the Schultz mansion, Dr. Schultz, right?
Schultz Ranch. That's a different Schultz.
Oh, it was. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, it was moved from Carson City over to Empire. So Carson City and Empire were 2 different cities at one time, or a town, and then Carson's kind of absorbed Empire.
Okay.
Well, anyway, they were making room for new construction, so they had to move it the second time and thought that Sutro would be a good home for it. And it's been there ever since. And it's been a dwelling. People have lived in it. All
Bill
the way
Miles
up until
lived in it.
He did. Bill Miles did live in it. All the way up until, I think, 2007. I was just on the phone with NV Energy, and they told me 2007 was the last time power was on there.
Okay.
So that's not too long ago, really, for somebody to live there.
No, I would have thought further back.
Yeah.
If you quizzed me, I would have thought. Remind everybody who Bill Miles is.
Bill Miles is the owner of Miles Construction. Big organization. He local guy, grew up, made it big, and is giving back to the community. He's done some incredible work. One thing comes top of mind is the Bank Saloon in Carson City. Bill and Miles Construction were the ones behind that restoration, along with Nevada Builders Alliance.
Got it. Okay.
Both great groups that are helping out tremendously with Sutro.
Oh, great. Yeah. So, it sounds like that place is a hotbed right now. So what else is happening?
So we got the Travel Nevada grant that's coming in, and a portion of that funding is going to come to the Sutro Tunnel and Dayton as a whole to help with tourism in the area, which is getting us a lot of attention right now. It's a portion of $1 million that's going between us and Walker Lake. There's more events are coming up, fundraising events. I'm now the president of the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce. So we're working with Sutro to help do these other events out there. And gosh, we have one contractor. I don't want to name names yet,
Sure.
but his dream is to rebuild the mansion, Sutro's original mansion.
Oh, I didn't realize it was around there.
Yeah, well, it burned down.
So
in
he's
the
like
40s.
rebuilding it from scratch.
Rebuilding it from scratch on the foundation based off of historic documents.
That's exciting.
That's a possibility.
Wow.
Coming up with one contractor's wanting to take that on. That's his dream project.
That's incredible. Wow.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, right. If you're willing, that's
Yeah.
what a draw that would be.
Oh yeah, and there's
man.
going to be some landscaping out there. And if once the venue is ready, could you imagine having a 28-acre historic site with a 5 million gallon pond and a tunnel that you could have a wedding at?
Yeah.
I mean, you can have a wedding there now if you want.
Yep.
But the venue, that's a place you can stay, and it's beautiful.
That is a fun thing to think about and to picture. So let's say 10 years from now, maybe 5 years from now, what will people be able to do when they visit the Sutro site?
5 years from now?
Yeah, spitballing.
So, right now we do have tours. We've got scheduled tours. With this grant, we are looking to open a more with permanent hours, visiting hours, Monday through Friday kind of thing. Maybe
more open to the public, because before it's been exclusive by nature. We were charging $65 a ticket just to get on the site, and now it's a lot more affordable than it was before. But that's because we had to get it off the ground and get it running.
Right.
And the goal is to make it a community resource. You can do regular tours out there. People can come out and enjoy it as a community instead of it just being an exclusive, like what's behind that fence and I can't ever afford to go to their things.
Right.
More for now, anybody can come out there and enjoy it. Cool. And that's the goal, really.
Yeah.
Okay, so shorter term, what's your current number one priority?
Keep getting in that tunnel, fix the buildings on site, and do some landscaping.
Okay.
We have the water.
Yeah.
Why not utilize
so
that?
much water. That blows me away. Is the increase in water flow just because you're moving debris out of the way deeper and deeper, and it's just allowing it to naturally come out the way it would have originally?
Yeah. So the tunnel floor being prepared for visitors to walk on, it's all gravel, so you have to contain that water. Two reasons. One, because of the moisture content that will soak into the wood and potentially damage our new structure. And then two, just so that the tourists or visitors aren't walking in a creek.
That's a good point.
Controlling that water in a pipe is alleviating that ground seepage. So that's why the volume of water is increasing, because a lot of it was just seeping right into the ground before it even got out to the pond.
Gotcha. So, well, I'm excited to come out and see this gusher now. I was truly impressed at the time at what was coming out, and now it sounds like that was a trickle compared to what you got.
What's really neat is when you're all the way in the back and that water's still flowing out and funneling into that pipe, and you're underground. It's a pretty incredible experience.
It's a bit of a taste of history, right? Because that's more like what it would have been like back in the day.
Well, more like 5 million gallons of water per day was coming out of there then. I don't know if we'll ever get to that because there's no real active mining going on anymore.
Right.
And a lot of those other mines have collapsed since then. But we'll find out. We're just going to keep working our way back and see what we see.
I do believe it'll be increasing quite a bit, though.
Yeah. So we don't know what the final result will be by the time you get. How much further back do you have to go? You have to go miles in, right?
3.84.
3.88 miles
is it totally, but so 3.87 left to go.
Oh yeah.
So 0.3 down, 3.87 to go.
Yeah.
Piece of cake. Piece of
No
cake.
problem.
One thing that I think people who've been out or have seen photos of the Sutro Tunnel will recognize is that sort of mission-shaped facade in front of it, and when you hear about it and think and you discover that it's not so much a tunnel as it is an adit, and you kind of might wonder why did they make it look so nice and make it look like a gateway or an entranceway. And I remember you told the story when we were standing there that day looking at it, and I thought it would be fun to revisit, because I just thought it was, I thought there was something more to it, and you said, no, this is what it is.
It's a sales pitch. That's what it was. So Adolf Sutro had a hole, and then he built the Greek-style facade, just make it look nice. He liked things to be pomp and circumstance and look good. And then when he left, his brother Theodore Sutro took it over, and he wanted to sell the place. So he built up the books, made them look real nice, and made this real nice Spanish facade, and sold it to the Leonard family. Still looks good today.
Right, it does. It looks really good.
It's a great sales pitch. Look at this beautiful thing, but why? Because no other drainage adit has a facade like that.
Yeah, I know. It's too funny to me. So back then, you walked us all over I guess I'll call it the campus, the compound, the town site. And we walked through a number of buildings of different purposes. The museum, we'll call it the museum building because it looked like it was pretty well kept. And you said at the time, it's pretty nice right now, but we want to really upgrade this and make this a world-class museum. Yeah. Is there any work currently happening in there?
So
go ahead.
Sorry, the windows, we're working on windows right now, and then the doors are being replaced. But just keeping it up, really. I mean,
There still needs to be more funding towards making that a really good museum. It has the potential. We have the building, we have materials. We just need more funding for that specifically to fix that up. We have a lot of historic documents that have been donated to us. We don't want to keep them on the site. We keep them in a secured facility, temperature controlled, and we're researching that stuff actively and publicizing it. There's more information. Heck, Spencer and I were down there the other day and learned more stuff.
There's a lot more than I thought there was.
Oh, really?
I thought I knew a lot, but now I'm just scratching the surface.
Anything that you can mention or hint at that struck you that was new to you?
Well, I found it interesting that before we always thought Leah Sutro and Adolf Sutro had never got divorced, and we're starting to find out that they very likely did.
Oh, okay.
But he still took care of her the rest of her life, bought her a hotel that she was able to rent out, and one of my favorite stories between those two was he had other children after his wife Leah, and one of these women named her son Adolf and the daughter Adolphine.
Oh, really?
To try and secure some of that money, which they never got.
He was just kissing up to the dad.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. But there's some other really cool stuff in there talking about in the 1960s, the caretaker at the site there, what the things that those guys were up to, a bunch of hippies coming out and having a fun time.
Yeah.
It was a art place for a long time. It had a lot of different stages. We're delving more into it, who those people were and what they were up to.
Interesting. So maybe at some point the museum might have sort of the eras of Sutro on display, so people could sort of see how it's changed over the years into different, sort of different phases.
Well, I mean, the history of the origination of our state's important, all the way up through World War II, and even recent history is really important. If we don't save that even recent history, in 100 years, that's going to be important to everybody.
Right.
They're going to want to know the timeline, how to go from here to here to here, and how to get to where it's at now.
Yeah. So you're doing work that's going to be even more valuable down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Well done. All right. So you shouted out when we were out there in 2022. You shouted out the volunteers and the donors as the real reason that the town site is still standing there, and
Still the truth.
So, how do the volunteers contribute? In what ways do they participate?
Oh, they keep everything from overgrowing and falling down. They've been out there for years, even before they got me involved, and you should see some of the pictures. It was tumbleweed city, sagebrush everywhere, walls falling down. They cleaned up the whole site. They are the ones that did the initial work, and they're still out there, and they still have plans, led by Pam Abercrombie. She's the lead volunteer. She was predecessor to me, but she's got a real job now. And but they still come out every other Sunday. And if you're interested in getting involved, or anybody out there is listening, want to volunteer, contact us through the website. We'll get you in touch with Pam and get you out there working. We need carpenters. We need people with skills. We need people with deep pockets. But the volunteers are really the ones that are the meat and bones of the whole thing.
Agreed?
Agreed. They've brought it to where it is today. It's night and day. Just in the last 2 years I've been there, you wouldn't even know it was the same site almost from what they've done. It's amazing. That
says a lot, because it's been more than 2 since I was there.
Wait
and
until
it
you come
looked
out.
pretty good, I thought then.
Yeah.
So
Made a lot of progress.
I got to see what it's like today.
Like he said, I think it's ready for weddings and corporate events, barbecues, things like that.
We can do it. We got a stage now. We have bleachers.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Where'd you put the stage?
By the tunnel.
That makes sense.
Yeah. There's a really neat acoustic situation that happens there because it's not natural ground slope. They raise it up into the cavern and the tunnel's there. You've created an acoustic situation. And when someone's at the tunnel, you can hear clear across the site. But you're on the other end of the site, they can't hear you over there.
Oh, funny.
So it's really neat. So we'd like to maybe one day have a big concert out there.
Yeah.
I think that,
and it's good too, right in front of the tunnel. It's a good wind block too. So if it's kind of a windy, breezy day, and you're thinking you don't want to go out there because of that, don't be discouraged, because right in front of the tunnel, it really does calm it.
Nice. Okay. So one more time for people who are listening or watching who want to get involved, where do they go to do that?
Friends of SutroTunnel.org.
The SutroTunnel.org, yep.
Oh, yeah, SutroTunnel.org.
That's Friends. Is it Friends of?
No, Friends. TheSutroTunnel.org.
TheSutroTunnel.org. Thank you. That's perfect. So, all right. So if you're interested in, you ought to be. If you haven't looked, go watch that episode, and I think you'll be intrigued, because I'm ready to go back now because I want to see the upgrade. So I want to thank you both for taking the time, because you guys had to come here from your regular gigs, your lives outside, and you had to travel up. So thank you for coming up and giving me some time, because this is really interesting to me, and I know people who love that location and love that program, that episode, really want to know how it's going.
People love Wild Nevada.
We left it off like, oh, we can't wait to see what comes next. Yeah. And I'm like, let's find out what's going on. So
come play some poker with us next month.
Yeah, I got to learn first. You guys will take me to the cleaners.
That's the point.
Yeah.
We need to fund that tunnel.
Well, you'll get me for sure.
I just want to say one more time for people watching and listening, June 7th, this coming June 7th is our poker tournament and open house.
Okay. And is the information about that on the SutroTunnel.org?
Not yet.
Okay.
They're working on it right now. So
okay, but keep an eye on that.
Maybe in the next day or so, we're getting ready to put up
and
some
by the
flyers
time
with
this
the QR
drops,
code.
it'll probably be there, because we're recording a few days ahead of
Perfect.
this being heard by anybody except us. So
perfect.
I will
yeah.
let the board know to get on that.
Yeah, right. We'll give them a deadline.
Yes.
All right. So one last time, thesutrotunnel.org. Thank you both for coming in. I really do appreciate it. And I want to say to everybody who is listening or watching that you can watch Wild Nevada on PBS Reno via broadcast or streaming at pbsreno.org and many other streaming sources. Also watch segments on PBS Reno's YouTube channel. If you have a question about Wild Nevada or maybe a comment or suggestion, send them to me at podcasts@pbsreno.org. My thanks to Chris Pattison and Spencer Davidson, and thank you for listening to Wild Nevadacast.